With how well my BFDI Alternate Scenarios video did, and with how long it has been now since then, I think it's right about time I did a follow-up. It has been pretty heavily requested after all. This time though, I think I'm going to devote more focus to a single scenario, that being, what if Teardrop hadn't been allowed to join TPOT? The premise is self-explanatory. In TPOT 2 does not change their mind after they agree with Fanny that Teardrop should not join the game, which means that she has to leave. Let's think about what could change if Teardrop is out of the picture. First off, the rivalry with Eraser and Teardrop does not happen, which is a bit unfortunate since I personally found it fun. It also gave Eraser some relevance for a while, so he doesn't have that here. Additionally, without Teardrop there to push the block off of the strongest team's stand, both them and Are You OK would each have one block on their podiums. As a result, I think that 2 would decide to start doing double eliminations in episode early instead of a tiebreaker. As for who gets out, strongest team still loses fully, while TV will be eliminated from Are You OK as at this point he has not yet gained any development to allow him to be safe. TPOT 3's challenge is the same, but without Teardrop wielding the Zap Ray, Team 8's restaurant never gets destroyed. That said, since Barf Bag is being used as the meal, they would still lose alongside the S. Thus this elimination is the same as normal regardless. The only difference is that the restaurant survived. Nothing changes in TPOT 4 at all, since the teams don't interact with each other at all, and TV being gone also hasn't changed anything yet. However, in TPOT 5 it's possible that no TV means that Team 8's will lose, because the strongest team wouldn't have used the fish monster robot as TV was needed to control it. However, Are You OK will still lose because they are unable to surface quickly enough. Here, Donut will be eliminated from the game as he hasn't been doing much. Fries also still gets out. The most important change in TPOT 6 is very consequential. Remember how Tree was originally the one who found the chocolate balls before Teardrop took them from him? Instead of giving 2 a live fish, Death Pact again gives them the box instead, and do not get put at stake. Instead, Just Not would lose the challenge alongside the S, and I think that Book would get out as Cake would get pity votes from the circumstances of their loss, and everyone else was more relevant. Obviously, Clock also still loses. In TPOT 7, Teardrop didn't really interact with any other teams in a meaningful way besides the Just Not trade. Maybe Just Not finds a different item to trade you to Are You OK for them to patch up the volcano. I think, so that the same 2 teams wouldn't lose twice in a row, Just Not would win somehow. Maybe they noticed the explosive on the roller coaster piece and remove it. Seriously, how did they not notice it? It's pretty big. Strongest team and the S lose this challenge then. Rocky still gets out, as does Eggy, although 2 episodes later than normal. Probably the main impact here is that no Teardrop means that the sequence of events where she's faking being incapacitated does not happen. Since Teardrop is why Eraser fell in the real episode, it's possible Death Pact again loses instead of Are You OK, as Fanny's mouth could fall over the edge instead of hitting whoever is last standing on Team 8's. This means TPOT 9 is where Lightning gets out, and Coiny likely still leaves here as well. Speaking of TPOT 9, Teardrop's absence may be the most consequential of all. Without her, they may not discover that mixing salt water with barf makes a cure for zombification. It probably has to happen in a different way then. Maybe somehow Barf Bag falls into the canal again and she comes out no longer zombified. But even so, normally Teardrop loses this episode, so another team has to take her place. In order to prevent a tie, we can make it so Eraser manages to slip back into the room with golf ball and tennis ball, so that he'll survive. This means Team 8 loses again alongside Just Not. Finally, after Needle and Cake get eliminated, I think Just Not's nightmare is something else, since Book isn't here anymore. I think Team 8 would lose again instead, and the strongest team alongside them. Since nothing would change about TPOT 11, and TPOT 12 hasn't released on YouTube yet as of this video, this is where I will leave off. Here is the alternate elimination order in this timeline if you were curious. Those on the right of the line are still in the running. That's just my opinion. What do you think would happen if Teardrop hadn't joined TPOT? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.